Do you know what it does to add a French entrepreneur, an Austrian businessman, a Brazilian comedian, and an Australian scientist? What's the result of this equation? It's 4 people and a dream. Our dream is to impact 1 billion seniors who suffer from poor health, who are isolated for technology, and who feel alienated from the rest of the world. The usual approach when designing new technology is to design devices that need to design that you need new habits for, like the Google Glass, or the Fitbit, or the Galaxy Gear, or even the the small watch that some of us wear here. We had a different approach, because this doesn't work with the elderly. With the elderly, you can't just change their habits. It doesn't work. We went out in the Bay Area and met with some of the elderly care homes out there. We asked them what their problems were. We interviewed some of the residents and some of their staff. And our new approach is to design objects, or is to improve their existing objects, like hearing aids, for example, like walking sticks, or even their diapers. We want to change their lives without changing anything. Our approach and our dream is called PEARED, a lifestyle company focused on the elderly, because we only live once, and we deserve to age gracefully. Our first product is called Bridgie. It's a smart hearing aid device, a smart earpiece that contains a health monitor, a hearing aid, and the first ever augmented audio reality. Let me show you how this works in a video. But this is not a real video. It's a live video. Let's go back to Carl here. Our friend Carl wakes up in the morning and gets a gentle reminder.
Good morning, Carl. Remember to take your red pill this morning. Have a good day.
In the morning, he goes down to the park to take a walk. And Bridgie, his friend, is always there to remind him of the geolocalization data that he needs.
This is a statue of the world's first explorer of Everest.
On the way to the park, he bumps into a good old friend of his who he just can't remember the name of. But Bridgie identifies the voice of his friend and reminds him of his name.
You remember your friend Paul?
Hi, Paul. How are you?
He just had a grandson.
What about your grandson?
Unfortunately, on the way home, our friend Carl trips and falls. But Bridgie, thanks to its smart monitoring health system, automatically calls 911. Thankfully, all ends well. And when Carl gets home, he gets a phone call from his grandson because Bridgie just notified him of the fall.
Hey, Grandpa. I heard you had a really tough day. Are you all right? I miss you.
A life of freedom for the elderly is the most important thing we can focus on. Why? Because the World Health Organization predicts that when the population of the people over 60 in the year 2000 was 400 million people, in the year 2050, it's going to be 1.7 billion people. And today, no one is designing for them. We've packaged the best health systems, the best technology in one device. A pulse oximeter, an accelerometer, a thermometer, even a GPS and a Wi-Fi device in this beautifully designed and elegant earpiece. This is PEAR. And you want to know what's the most important thing? Is that for Carl, none of this matters. What matters is that this just works. This is how Bridgie works. And welcome to Bridgie.
The AARP, Association of Retired People, will be glad to help you with this. They're trying to engage Silicon Valley entrepreneurs in developing solutions for the old. I can connect you with them if you want to. You have some good ideas here. They'll give you better ideas. And they actually have a focus on it. They may even fund it if you really make a good pitch to them. So contact me offline and I'll connect you with the AARP.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's really, you guys have some legs here because you're focused on a market and you've got just one product that, who cares if somebody else comes in and does a better bridgie? Your focus isn't just the bridgie, it's the whole market. I mean, I think that makes sense to have one product that you can kind of get started, but the way you can have longevity is to have the entire market and kind of focus on them. I think it's a really good idea. I think it's a great job. So, for what it's worth.
Thanks.
So your challenge is going to be selling it to the public sector, or who is your client?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So the challenge with these kind of systems is selling it to the public sector, generally as the client, or it could be private, obviously. But have you ever any thoughts on how do you start that process?
Yeah, we've actually identified a number of the different stakeholders, not just the private sector. There's also elderly care homes, there's the physicians that are going to prescribe products, there's the families of the people, there's the elderly themselves, and we think the entry to market is probably through the families. If we design something that's uber sleek, uber elegant, that not just elderly people want to have, but I also want to have it because my grandma has it and it's so cool. So maybe that's a great entry to market.
And if I can just add to that, it's obviously a market that grows towards the product. It's maybe not now, and that's obviously something we learned in the field. If you now go to an elderly home, that's not the device that's probably used. It's probably the generation that just comes after that. So it's obviously the people grow into the product.
I think Sweden will be a really good market for this.
Yes, we are. But because because this is a design company and not just a technology company, we're actually going to design pods to recharge the hearing aid. They're going to fit beautifully into your home, into your bathroom, into your kitchen, and you're just going to love having them.
I'm just curious to know.
By the way, good job, good focus. You're doing things the right way.
Just curious quickly, what other products have you thought of, without so much work?
So it's only been a couple of days, but we thought about the walking stick, which could provide some data on health as well in walking. The diaper was actually not just a joke. A lot of elderly people do wear diapers that could provide smart health data.
This first product we created in the last 2 days, so if you predict exponentially the growth of the creation of products, we're going to have a lot of products.